Let's talk about this platform bed I made for my daughter's room. This was a really fun project to do. The whole inspiration from the room came from a hotel we stayed at in Colorado. My daughter absolutely loved the painted wall, so I ended up designing the space around it. I knew I wanted to make her a platform bed with a bunch of storage for clothes and toys, but I didn't want to make the drawers from scratch. So I searched Pinterest for ideas, and I came up with a plan using these IKEA storage boxes. They only cost $55 per box, which was cheaper than making my own, and they came with wheels. They had a ton of storage space, and I could fit 4 of them in the room. I planned out a simple frame using 2x3s for the structure and particle board for the top. I started by screwing a 2x3 to the back wall, making sure the top edge was 16 1/4 inches high, which allowed for the extra height of the second 2x3 and the particle board. I measured and cut all the 2x3s with just a simple straight cut using my miter saw. Using a couple 3-inch multi-purpose wood screws, I attached the 49-inch boards to the 16-inch boards, and then I placed each board in position, but I didn't screw them in place just yet. I wanted to make sure all of the drawers fit properly before I did that. Once I knew that each 2x3 was in the right place, I used the same wood screws as before to attach them to the 2x3 on the wall. I pre-drilled all the holes to prevent the wood from splitting. This takes extra time, but it's worth it. And if you have 2 drills on hand, you can have one set up with the drill bit and the other with the screwdriver bit. And this saves a lot of time. I added a few scrap pieces in between each section to add support for the particle board. I didn't do anything fancy here. I just used a few screws to attach the board to the supporting 2x3. The next step was to add the middle support legs and cross beams. I staggered each board so the screws wouldn't hit each other, and I used my Kreg jig to pre-drill the holes before I attached them. There's really no exact place to attach the support legs. They just need to be somewhere in the middle. In order for the particle board to lay nice and flat, all the 2x3s needed to be flush with one another. So before I screwed the cross beams in, I made sure the end of the board stayed flush with the 49-inch board. And then I totally had to test the strength by walking across it. It didn't crumble under my weight, so I figured it was good. To finish off the top, I'm using 3 4x4 cut sections of melamine particle board instead of buying a 4x8 sheet. It was easier for me to fit them in my car, and they were a lot lighter, so I could carry them by myself without having to ask for help. This meant I had 2 seams to cover instead of 1, but I was okay with that. The third board was a little too long, so I cut the excess off with my skill saw. Particle boards sat on the frame without moving or sliding, so I didn't screw them down, but I could always add a few screws underneath if I needed to. The last step was ironing on the melamine edge banding. I had never used this before, and I messed up on my first try, but the second try was much better. All you do is iron it on and then sand off the rough edges. It actually looks really good when it's all done. I even used it to mend the 2 seams on top, and it held up really well. Here's a quick look at it all finished. I added a hammock in the corner and a few other accessories to cozy it up, but check out the bonus space behind the drawers. It's the perfect hideaway. I'm kicking myself for cutting corners and not painting all the way down to the baseboard, but otherwise I am thrilled with how it turned out.